Hello people, haven't been on here in a few days for various reasons. I've been busy and I've been fighting off my attacks a bit as well, my epilepsy. So okay, today's video I'm focusing on, is it okay to trace? That for many people will be a yes no answer. For myself, it isn't as simple as that. So the way I do it is like this. I'm gonna bring up a picture today of Martina, and I was brought up being told no, it's not okay to trace. We didn't do it in our house, and it was kind of forbidden. But as I've grown up and obviously got some experience, I've learnt my own methods of it, and you'll notice from the video I posted of me drawing on my iPad, I did one of Martina and it wasn't quite the shape. So the way I do it is I use tracing as a way of studying the face. So what I'm going to do is just get a piece of jot of paper, and if you can't draw something, if you've tried over and over again and it's not working, then it doesn't hurt to do this, so you can basically see what's its where. The time I would say it is cheating is if you do it straight to your drawing book and then tell everybody it is one of your drawings. I don't do that. I won't do that. That is what I think is cheating from my perspective. Everybody's got their own way of doing it and their own outlook on tracing, but for myself, this is how I'll use it. Sometimes it's hard to know what sits where. Don't know if you can see that because of the light, but for example, you might draw the eyes and they might come out fine, and then draw something else and you get a specific part of the face right, and no matter what you do, you can't get a certain point right. So, I mean, for me, it's open mouths, and I'm not going to put too much detail into that. But what I do is get a few points. That is basically what I call these points here. I'll make them a bit bigger in this. And they're basically measuring points. And it's a good way to learn someone's face. If you want to be able to draw someone's face perfectly, I mean, for myself, I draw it them over and over and over again. And that's what I did with Elvis until I was able to draw him. And the way I did it with these bits, I would measure. These different points can be measured in different ways. Many ways. And yeah, you'll probably see me drawing Martina a lot because her and her sister are very beautiful. And I find it a lot easier to draw prettier, what are prettier to me anyway. Find it easier to draw them because, well, I like their faces. I feel the human body in it is in itself a work of art, and it's up to the artist to make it look so. Now, if you can't draw faces, this is a good way, like I said, of seeing what sits where, getting the basic outline done. That light's getting in my way. And something I used tracing for was to work out how to not make the image look so flat, which you can see here. That is part of the skull that basically on any face you can measure it up that way. And there we go, just like that, just to try and give it a little bit of 3D perspective. Otherwise your image is going to look flat, and that's the last thing you want. You can even do, for example, the shading, just do it like that. It's not going to be perfect, but I don't mean it to. I'm just giving my use of sketching, tracing, sorry. And what you can then do is put that on another piece of paper, like put another piece of paper on top, and have a fiddle with it. And it's also a good way for you to practice your shading. What I'd recommend doing is get a drawing pad or one of these pads and labeling it trace pad, so you and everybody else knows that that pad is full of traced images. And yeah, I don't like the word trace because I was brought up that is wrong. And yeah, I do still agree with that. But doing it this way, using tracing in this manner, it's a way of studying the human face, the human body, what lies where, and how you should also shade the face you're drawing. I must add that I'm sure a lot of digital artists will be happy to admit that the way we draw as digital artists, not everybody does it. I have seen one or two people say they don't, which is fair enough. But if you imagine 10 pieces of this paper, one on top of the other, digital artwork, you would draw the outline similar to this, and then you'd put another piece on top to start your shading, and that way you can smear it and smudge it and it doesn't affect the underline, the outline of your artwork. So when you do digital art, you are in fact tracing. If you're using the layer upon layer upon layer, that is a form of tracing in itself. And I suppose you have to either learn to live with the fact that tracing can be useful, or completely dismiss it and learn slower. And that is my outlook on it. I wouldn't take this picture of Martina and or whoever you might be drawing onto a piece of Bristol board after doing this and then tell everybody it was my own work, because that is just wrong. In my opinion, that is wrong. I've seen some people, I'm not going to name names, but they take an image and they'll use an Apple Pencil on the skin tone to make it paint-like, and then they posted it on Facebook as one of their pieces of artwork, and they've basically spent the day changing a photograph to make it look like they've done a painting, and I thought that was completely wrong. But I mean, if you're just starting out with your drawing, this is a good way to get this 3D perspective. So you've got this side of the face, this comes over like that. Putting these lines in, you can see where bits turn. So yeah, if you're drawing a face and like I said, you're getting one specific point wrong over and over, or you're having trouble with a mouth or a nose, whatever it might be, draw it out a few times without tracing, and then trace an image similar to this, put it over the top of your drawing, and that will immediately point out where you're going wrong. And you can go away to sketching then and practice that specific thing. And yeah, I to be honest, I haven't got Martina's face correct in my drawing, and I'm gonna purposely practice more. Not in this way, but because with the amount, the years of practice I've had, I don't need to do that. But if there is something that I just can't get correct, then I may come back to doing this. I'm contradicting myself a bit there, but yeah, this is a way you can use tracing that I don't feel it's cheating in any way. I'm not going to turn around and say this is my own work. But it'll then help me come away from the image, and rather than having the photograph to look at, you can have the image to look at, which is, make sure that's in, yeah. You can have that image to look at with the photograph separate. And it helps you, like I said, work out what sits where, get a bit of 3D perspective on it. And what you can then do is go over this with a biro or something like that. Stick that behind a piece of cartridge paper, not on your Bristol board, because that is, unless you're a millionaire, because that is very expensive. But on your cartridge paper, stick it behind there, and it'll help with your shading, where to put what. And if you do it with a dozen faces of the same person, it's going to train your brain as to what is sitting where. And what it might do along the way as well, what I've found happened with me when I was teaching myself to draw Elvis, is I learned the diamond method with the eyes. So that's shape will help with drawing an eye, because of how every human eye is shaped. You've got the diamond there, but these bits are in different areas. So that in itself helps you work out how the eyes look. And drawing it like that as well, I can already see that Martina's over a little bit over there. But from that trace, you can then you can even photograph that if you've got the equipment. Make it bigger, make it small, whatever is suitable to you. Put it on another piece of paper, and that is a way. And go over it on there, and that's a way of using tracing that I don't really believe is cheating, because it's like I said, I'm not going to say this is purely my own work, 'cause it isn't. So that is a way I use tracing. For the digital art, I don't use the photo image at the back like what is possible. I don't I don't like it. It's probably the way I've been brought up. But everybody's got their own perspective of what is right and wrong with artwork, and while somebody's saying I'll do it this way, this is the right way to do it, don't do it that, it's cheating. Other people are doing exactly what they say is cheating. I'm not thinking twice about it, to be honest. But you look at the human form, and it's like I say, it is a work of art in itself. Those teeth actually don't look bad, do they? And yeah, it helps you. It will teach you by doing this a lot with probably one of these jotter pads, so you're not really using any decent paper. People will be able to see it's a trace drawing. You'll know. But it's a way of brain training for your artwork. And I may do 3 or 4 of these of the different images of Martina, just to give myself a feel for the shapes of different areas, what lines up where, and then go on to just doing a full-fledged drawing. Because if you can do it in the same day, you're going to have gone over the image once, twice, 3 times, however many times it may be, and then you'll put the tracing aside and hopefully your brain will be a little bit rewired. But I don't recommend just tracing an image and claiming it as your own, because that isn't fair. You're not being fair on yourself, you're not training yourself properly, and it isn't fair on other artists who are going to all the work of working out what sits where. But that's how I use tracing. That I don't believe it's cheating. I don't believe that's cheating at all, because it's like I say, it's just brain training for an artist. But otherwise, that is basically my take on tracing. I don't think there is any yes/no answer to it. If you look into it deeply enough, it can be useful. But use it too much and you're just not going to progress. I look at it as, like I said, the brain training method. And yeah, that's basically it for this lesson. Away from the video, I may try sketching over and over Martina over and over again, and trying to perfect bits and work out all the different lines. It just takes too long for me to do that here. I mean, people say, why you put so much effort into all these lines? But it's similar to the artists that do that. They're putting it in their head that how long that bit is from there to there, and then you can obviously shorten. And it's basically doing that, but on paper with your perspective lines. And yeah, over time, I hope I'll be able to do a really good portrait of Martina. But we'll see where it goes next. I want to do a bar now. I'll talk about that in another video. But a pencil barn owl, A4. That's what I'm looking at doing next. And from beginning to end. But what I'll do is I'll number the videos, because there's no way I'll be able to cover it over one video. But you'll see me do everything, so you'll know it. I won't be cheating or anything on there. Alright, so I'll leave it there and say stay safe, and I'll see you next time.